Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Wisdom, and today I'm going to show you how to add motion blur to any of your animation so they shall look good and also feel natural. So guys, let's get started with the video. Right here, as you can see, we are inside of our After Effects, and I'm going to simply change the view to quarter or half, any one of those. Now we have something like this on the screen, and the first way you can actually do this is that let's first of all make an animation. Okay, let's just make an animation for the position of this thing. Now we're simply going to set an animation outside the screen. As you can see, this is the X value, this is the Y value. So let's go push it outside of the screen. So let's reduce that to somewhere around this where we can actually see that. Okay, so we're going to create an animation right here, and at the 1 seconds, or let's say half quarter of a second duration, we're simply going to bring that back to its normal position, which is 960, I think so, and it should be somewhere in the middle of the screen back there. So you see, now when we play this from the beginning, you get this simple stuff, but it happens quite fast and there's no motion blur on it, as you can see. Now the first way you can add motion blur to this animation right here is simply by clicking on this motion blur property, as you can see right here. It affects all the layers which you apply it to. First of all, you can go toggle switch modes right here, and you're going to see this one right here which says motion blur. If you check it on this layer, you're going to see that it adds a little bit of motion blur onto this. As you can see, there's a motion blur on that. Immediately you click on that button right there, and also it's get activated right here. Remember, if you can't find that motion blur property here, just click on toggle switch modes, and it's going to show you something like this where you just check the motion blur property, and then when you play your video, you're going to get that instant motion blur on any animation you check it for, as you can see right there. And also make sure that you don't leave the motion blur turned on for the entire duration, because the motion blur actually takes up a lot of CPU and also a lot of RAM. So once you're done with what you want to do, just make sure you uncheck that and you can come back to it later. Okay guys, so this is how you can add the motion blur property at the first place. But let's say you don't want to use the easiest one like this and check that, you can simply deselect that one. Okay, now there's this effect right here, and the effect property is called the transform effect. Okay, so we're going to call it transform, and you should see it under distort right here. Just drag it and place it on the layer. Okay, now this time we're simply going to remove our position right here. Okay, we're simply going to deselect this one. Okay, we don't need the animation from this side since we're using the transform property. As you can see, it's already outside the screen. With the transform property right here, you're going to see that set its own position by default. All you just need to do is to click on this keyframe button right here and bring it back to the screen, which is around 960, and it should be somewhere in the middle of the screen back. Okay, you can see 960 is too small. Let's see, drag it this way until it gets to the middle of the screen. Now you get something like that, guys. And now you can simply go down here and you see this place called shadow angle. You want to deselect this upper one which says use composition shadow angle. I'm going to remove that one and set one by yourself. Okay, now you can set one of 180, 270, 360, but just know that the higher you go, the more motion blur you get. For instance, let me set this to 180 first of all, and we can change the sampling rate, but for now we just want to leave it like that. When we play this, you're going to see a faster motion blur than normal. Okay, now let's simply do that. Right here we can simply open up this part right here. Okay, when we open up this part, we're simply going to go down to transform, and you can see that under effect, you go down to transform. Under effect, you're going to see it's created an animation for this point right here, and right here at the middle, this is where your keyframe is supposed to be at, the second keyframe. And at the beginning right here, you were supposed to move this back a little bit. Okay, just around 256, I think so, 256, and now that should take it outside of the screen entirely. Now when we play this, you're gonna get that same motion blur, but this time you already have control over how many, but this time you have control over the amount of blurriness you want. Okay guys, now let's click play, and you're supposed to see a simple motion blur like this. So when we click play, we're gonna get a simple motion blur like that. As you can see guys, the motion blur comes in faster because we used 180 as the motion blur. For instance, when we use 270, you're gonna see that the motion blur is actually heavier and more than the 180. That's how it works, guys. So that's how you can easily add motion blurs to your properties, to your animation right in After Effects. If this video was helpful to you guys, please smash the subscribe button right now, and also go down to the comment box and type in anything you like, guys. I'm simply gonna reply to any one of them. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.